Boom. Hey, you, come on, sit down. You're sitting at the grown-ups table. I'm your host, Jesse Pimpinella. Now, John's not here tonight. No. John is currently taking a sabbatical. He is out in Illinois right now in a small town where a psycho went loose. 15 years ago, he was locked up, and now he's out, and he's looking for someone he claims to be his sister. And he's hunting that person down. I don't know the details, but sounds like a very familiar title. Don't know which movie. Can't think of it. But anyways, I'm lucky to have one of my favorite comedians on the show today. Please give it up for Destin Richardson, everybody. Yeah. Destin, how you doing, dude?
I am doing great. I am so happy to be here. I know you had many other last resort options for instead of John. I'm glad that I was your last resort.
You were like the last resort. Like you
exactly.
I had a list of last resorts, and you were like on.
I was like the resort from The Shining.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, and then I went after you real quickly, and because I was like maybe, and then I'm like, nah, fuck, they're busy too. So I went back up the list to you. But I love this look, dude. I love this, like, you're in a wife beater, your tattoos out, man. You look like you've been sitting in the back of a bar all night.
I was. The bar and the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got done with a workout, and I was eating a bunch of wings off camera. I had to scarf them down because I didn't want to get any copyright issues from Hot Ones. I don't want you getting sued from Schoenberger and Evans.
No, that's fine. They can sue us. We need the press. But no, anyway, so
make some anti-Semitic remarks. That works really well for people.
Right? Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I don't have a shoe deal to lose, which I gotta be careful. I can't talk about this right now. So right. Did I tell you I got a death threat over that?
No.
Oh yeah, no. So I guess I haven't talked about this on the air. So I'll make this really quick. I made a joke about Kanye, and I got like a bunch of death threats on YouTube. And so then I'm like, all right, well, maybe we'll just, it's just, make this video private for a few days, lay low. Dude, I'm like, I'll tell you what, every time I came home, I kept like making sure there's no one behind me because I was so paranoid. But then a buddy of mine, Time Moore, made me feel better. And I want to
That's what Time Moore does.
Time Moore is a great comedian. And I want to read his text messages. So, listen, a few days, I lived in fear of my life. I had some nasty messages about, like, we're going to fucking come fly to kill you and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then, my good old buddy Ty Moore, I told him what happened, right? And where is this? Okay, here's what he wrote. So I was joking around. He writes, LOL, if somebody got on a plane and flew into town to kill me, I'd probably let them. Like half the time, my friends won't even drive 8 blocks to see me do stand-up. You flew in from Tempe to kill me? I respect that. Like, Christ, dude, I don't even want to fly and go anywhere that I actually want to go. And then this dude waited in line in TSA so he can cut my throat. I'm honored.
Yeah, Jesse, next time you're feeling saucy and you want to joke about something like that, wait until it's a bringer show and then just have them give your name at the door. Next time it's a funny stop. You tell Pete, it's like, hey, Pete, a couple of people, they're gonna come. They're gonna say they're looking for me. It's like you tell them you're gonna be right there on that stage.
I fucked your mother's pussies from behind. Now, when you go to the club, say my name at the door. And don't worry about checking your knives. They don't have metal detectors. Yo, pussies. Yeah, just do it that way. But no, that was but Ty Moore maybe cracked me up, and I was like, okay, I feel so much better. So, but that's how amazing Ty Moore is. But anyways, so we got sidetracked. So let's talk about Halloween real fast, not the movie that I'm wearing or the movie I mentioned John would be in right now, but you did Halloween roast that we were all in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that show and tell me about the night.
Let's see. I mean, it all started actually before the Batman roast, all the way back in early 2020. Wow. And the horror and Peter, who was our Freddy Krueger, he'd been saying like, yeah, I can't wait for this Batman one. We should do one about like horror movies. And I was like, no, horror movies suck. Yeah, I said it. I know what podcast I'm on. Bring it on. Flying from Tempe.
No, here's the thing. You made really good horror movie niche jokes. So look, you may not be hip to it, but you earn my respect.
This show forced me to watch them. I put them off for my whole life, and honestly, it was just it terrified me when I was 7. So I just was turned off from the whole genre for a long time. And then, like I said, for occupational reasons, I had to go back and start watching some. And no, I've somewhat changed my tune since then. But anyway, so I finally was like thinking, it's Halloween. We got another Michael Myers movie coming that'll shut him up. So yeah, let's do a horror movie roast. And once I started writing jokes for it, I immediately started getting really hyped for it. I went out and I got all the decorations and stuff. And like I said, the show it came together, and everyone did fantastic. I'm so proud how it came out. And then so this is the third one we're doing. The next one will be tentatively. I have to actually get the date, but it's going to be the last weekend of June, basically June 24th. Will be the roast of me because I turned the big 30 next year.
Oh hell yeah! Me too, actually.
Oh yeah, shit. I say you look so much older, Jesse. You look so much older.
Yeah, no, life didn't treat me well.
But and then we'll do another one. Yeah, we'll do another one pretty much around this time next year. And I remember putting in the group chat, we have a huge list of topics. I'm actually going to start putting it to votes on social media. Let the fans choose what we do. Yeah. And then I will completely veto all of that, and we're doing Shrek next year. So,
I'd be down for that. Yeah, and that'd be fun because you could unleashes a whole common knowledge of fairy tale humor, which you don't see anymore. So right. I mean, since maybe the last Shrek movie, so I think it would be an excellent idea for that. So, but no,
there are others we would do before that. I know. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, especially because the last two are a lot hotter right now because they, the Rings of Power and House of Dragons. So it'd be good to strike while it's hot on those two. But
no, that's one of the things about your roast. You pick like really good topics that really just hone in on that bring the hype. Because I mean, Halloween ends the hype on that, which was brilliant because it didn't matter if the movie was going to be good or bad. If it was good, everybody's going to be so hyped they want to see a Halloween roast. If it's so bad, then everybody wants to see you trash the Halloween movie. So
which even I, as Michael Myers, I did. So
so it's so hilarious, like how that kind of worked out best for you. You're like, look, movie can bomb, movie can fail. I don't give a shit. It's going to work in my favor, and it did in your favor. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, so we're going to sidetrack and switch gears real quickly. We're going to talk about what we're here to talk about tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Marvel's Phase 4. We're going to be talking about, we're going to do a quick review. Now, we're not going to do a lot of the tentpole movies that were huge successes like Spider-Man, No Way Home, or anything like that. We talked about it on the show. Everybody knows where we stand on it. We love those movies. I want to talk about the recent movies recently because it seems like in the last 6 or 8 months is when we've been starting to hear for the first time some really strong backlash from Marvel fans. A lot of some of the people saying stories are weaker, CGI is weaker. What are some other complaints that you've heard or you might have?
The biggest one of the bigger failings is for sure all visual effects and CGI because they are being horrendously overworked. Unfortunately, Feige's following the Bezos model of just cranking out stuff all the time every couple months, and I mean we're starting to see the cracks essentially. And again, it's no fault to the very hardworking visual effects artists. I mean, they have way more demand than they can supply.
You tell 100 people to do a 1,000-person job, you're going to get what you get.
Yep.
So it's not on their end. But like I think that's one of the things I really hope for in the future with Marvel movies is that they go towards the more grounded movies. Like, for example, I was really hoping Shang-Chi would have done this. I mean, Shang-Chi, I think, okay, so while I did like the CGI in the movie, I didn't want the CGI. And the reason why I didn't want the CGI, not too much CGI. The reason why is you had one of the best fight stunt coordinators working on that movie. He's a student of Jackie Chan's stunt team. Yeah, I mean, the bus scene alone shows you how good that was. And you can see a lot of things were very Jackie Chan-esque. Like when they're fighting on the side of the building, that was Rush Hour 2. So there was a lot of, like, he was literally Easter egging to the guy who taught him how to do stunt coordination.
Right.
So it was like when it came down to this big, so like I think, or Black Widow.
Spectacle battle at the end. I loved the first 2/3 of Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
It was the moment when it became a Marvel movie, basically, when it was like, all right, well, we need to have two big CGI forces clashing together in the sky. I'm like, no, you didn't.
In the background, and like the two guys fought down on Earth.
Yeah,
I've been okay with that. I've been okay.
Yeah, and you had Tony Leung, who's again a like the Leonardo DiCaprio. For those that don't know, like like Hong Kong cinema, like the man is a legend.
Oh yeah,
and he brought it too the whole time. And just again, Shang-Chi was such a great martial arts movie. It was a great kung fu movie.
Mm-hmm.
Although I almost want to fire whoever decided to have the Rush Hour 2 scene on the side of the building and have Awkwafina turn into a Sam Raimi screaming woman.
I was fine with that. Have him right on the side of the building. I'm
just saying, once she hit that decibel, I'm like, I'd rather listen to a dogfight. But okay.
Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's talk about. Well, how about this? We're going to switch it up real quick. Let's talk about this movie instead, because this is kind of where the CGI gate came out with Marvel, or at least words of it. Thor: Love and Thunder. So if you remember, the director, I'm just blanking on his name real fast.
Taika Waititi.
Thank you. He made a goof about the CGI, and that's when people start talking about it more often. Yeah. But let's talk about the movie in whole, and we can get to the CGI. So I'm going to tell you where I stand on it. You can tell me where you stand on it. I love this movie. I thought it was fantastic. It was just a fun comedy. Where do you stand?
I hated it. No, I'm kidding. But admittedly, I saw it once right when it came out, and I was just like, oh, it's fine. I watched it a second time though. That's when I started to notice holes. I did not hate it, but I did not love it.
Yeah. I excuse some of the holes because the one thing that I caught on early is the movie is told from Korg's point of view. And I never really felt that Korg would be somebody who's as linear as we would want him to be,
Right.
I mean, he started a revolution without pamphlets, remember? I mean, that's how I got stuck in that infinite circle thing. But, right. I mean, let's talk. What were some of the holes that you found that were in the movie?
Let's see where to start. How about the beginning?
Go for it.
No, I'm kidding. The thing is, the most redeeming part was, of course, Christian Bale as Gore. Just needed more of him.
I agree with that criticism. I mean, when you have somebody called the God Butcher,
and he did not do enough butchering.
I agree.
Off-screen butchering, big issue with that. And apparently, there were two post-credit scenes that they cut, and it was of him butchering gods. He found Grandmaster. He killed Grandmaster.
Oh, which of course, that's what Jeff Goldblum's thing was.
Yeah. Because I mean, technically, he's like credited to it, and then they just never made it. And also, they had Lena Headey as a goddess that got butchered, which it's kind of sucks that you have such a woman that's so great at being evil to only bring her in just to kill her off. So I'm almost glad we just didn't even get her. Goldblum deserved better because he's Goldblum.
I hope that the fact they did show it.
There was also I want to say I heard where there's a scene where he killed what's Dinklage's character's name from Infinity War, like Idri or or whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You had the Gore the God Butcher, and there just wasn't enough butchering.
Yeah.
For one.
That I could agree with. I mean, and it was tough because, and here's the thing: they could have had really dark scenes, and then the comedy could have been the thing that brought it back up. You know what I mean? Because I mean, look at Jojo Rabbit. You know, Taika Waititi can do very dark things, and then suddenly have Hitler eating a giant unicorn head. You know,
right?
Like, so you know he could take it to this really sad drama, and then suddenly bring comedy to it. So I mean,
Which I always hate when I hear critics say, especially with that movie, and they even said it about Ragnarok, when they talk about it's tonally inconsistent, and they'll cite it's like you have this big heavy moment, and then someone has to crack a joke. I'm like, what is the point of a writer or director than to take you, the viewer, through every gambit of emotions on the way? That's the whole idea. You're supposed to switch up the tone. You're not supposed to have just one constantly long, dark, brooding movie, or you're not supposed to have something that's just constantly, other than like Jackass. That's the one example I'll say where it's like always happy all the time.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Like sometimes I mean, we've recently seen how critics are kind of dropping off and not having a pulse on anything that people like. I mean, even the Halloween Ends movie, I thought had too high of a critic score. It's at a 41, and I literally told my wife, I'm like, it's that high? Like, I was so confused. I was like, it should be a 9. It should be a 5. Like, this was not a good movie. You know, I mean, it was higher than Halloween Kills, and Halloween Kills was a great film. But I digress. So my point is like, we're kind of seeing that critics are very disattached from movies. And Marvel, in my opinion, has been changing the art of film for a very long time. And
Scorsese. No.
It has been, God. James Cameron, I love he came out recently. This dude's like...
Cameron can fuck off.
Dude, Cameron, he hasn't made a good movie since True Lies. Okay? Really? It's time to make your favorite movie. I tell everybody.
I agree. Avatar is just a pretty blue retelling of Lion King, of Macbeth.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Titanic, just way too fucking long. I don't care if it had great moments.
We knew the ship was going down. Okay, spoiler alert. Sorry. 20 years later. Sorry, the ship was going down.
Yeah, ship versus iceberg. Iceberg wins. We get it.
Iceberg wins. Okay, yeah. And everybody, and the only thing good came from that.
Their relationship was not adorable.
It was stupid. Like, okay, so I'm going to pull up what Cameron said. Cameron said, when I look at these big, spectacular movies, I'm looking at you, Marvel and DC. So he's calling them out like he has fucking street cred.
In his opening line too. Like,
it doesn't matter how old the characters are. They all act like they're in college. They have relationships. They really do that, but they really don't. They never hang out in their spurs. They ever hang their spurs up because of their kids. And the thing is that they really ground us and give us power, love, and purpose, ? Those characters don't experience it. I think it's not the way to make movies. And then I'm like, look, Iron Man hung up his armor for his kid and only returned to save his surrogate kid. Right?
Yep.
Hawkeye retired after Civil War. Like, he could have gone off with Captain America key fight, but he chose to do this.
And in his own series, it was him just desperately trying to retire, go have Christmas dinner with his family.
He was just so sick of this shit. He just wanted to go home.
Exactly.
He was like
his tired dad energy in that show was great.
Oh, his dad energy was awesome. Yeah. Then Magneto gave up his cause after Days of Future Past to be with his family, but then assholes killed his wife and kids.
Yep.
And he was thrusted back in. Not to mention, this guy was in the Holocaust. You know, and then Batman. Yeah. How many times did Batman quit being Batman? I mean, God. Yeah, I mean, he quit.
Spider-Man hung up being, being the webhead just so he could eat a tofu hot dog, and yeah.
I always love that stupid scene where the cop cars are going back.
Oh yeah,
it's such an exaggerated hot dog scene. Like, all right, I want you to act like you're putting 2 hot dogs in your mouth. But anyways, no.
Again, Raimi is not only a genius of horror, but of comedy as well.
I love Raimi. Anyways, So, going back to this. Okay. So, I mean, it's just like, but I'm looking at James Cameron. I'm like, you write the flattest fucking characters I've ever seen in my life. And here's the thing: your precious Avatar movie, it took almost a decade to get to its like what almost $3 billion mark. Almost three. It's not three, but it's almost $3 billion. And I'm like, Marvel did that in a few months.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at the rate, kids. How many times did you have to re-release your movie to get there? You know what I mean? I'm like, Marvel re-released their movie once.
Yeah.
That's it. With unedited Hulk shit, which we'll talk about that. Yeah. That should have been where we should have been worried about the CGI stuff. We're like, oh.
Yeah.
Should have been worried about. But anyways, let's go back to Love and Thunder real quickly. So Gore, we didn't have a lot of butchering. But we thought the tone was good. Seems like we both agree on that. Was there any other movie? Now, you said you watched it twice. Was there something that struck you the second time that you didn't catch on the first time?
I still don't exactly know where I stand on Russell Crowe as Zeus. Because on one hand, they did a really great job of nailing the fact that Zeus is very shitty.
Oh, he's a super shitty.
He's such a shithead.
He's an asshole. He's impregnating women left and right.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just it's still okay with it. Yeah, it's still I just wasn't in love with it. Honestly, I almost wished, and I understand why they had to, because the last we saw of Thor was him getting on the Benatar with the Guardians. But like they were very mistreated in their little brief period of time. You know, they were just being clowned by the fact that Thor's a god, and they showed it on their face. Don't get me wrong, that they're even like, all right, we're getting tired of him doing all of our jobs.
Yeah. Which I kind of thought was funny because I love when he lazily just jumps on Mjolnir like a witch broom.
Yeah. Yep.
I laughed so hard at that scene. I thought it was funny.
Now, one thing that most people cited as a criticism, I honestly thought was fine, was the scene where Jane told Thor that she had cancer. People had issue with the way it was delivered. I'm like, no, that like something that heavy. You kind of have to joke about it almost. Like,
oh my god, it's like, yeah,
like you don't just take the medicine straight. Like, no, get a little honey before it. Like,
yeah, no, I think those are people who are either too uncomfortable in their, and I think that's what it is. Some people, I think they live too uncomfortable and they put too many things on pedestals and they live in a fear of talking about certain things. When it's like, no, these are the real life things. Cancer is cancer. You know what I mean? Yeah. People have it. My grandmother died of cancer a few weeks ago, right? Oh, and yeah, and like my friends and I we're all cracking jokes again. You know what I mean? Like I think someone said like, "Do you think God did this to you because of all the shitty jokes you make?" You know, and like I understand somebody said that, and I was like,
sounds like you need to fly out to Tempe.
Yeah. But no, that was a friend that said that. That's the worst part.
Put on your CPAP mask. I am vengeance.
Well, my point is, I knew what he was saying. He wasn't making a joke at the cancer. He was making a joke at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Joey Diaz has a very interesting thing he does. Anytime he's on the phone and somebody has died, he'll console them. He'll be 100% real, but he'll always end the call with, "So what was in the will?"
Yeah.
You know, there's a thing where it's like, yeah, that's how you talk about death. Yeah. You know, when you go to a funeral, there's always that group of people who are fucking cracking up. And they're not being ignorant. They are remembering all the wonderful moments of that person's life.
Exactly. I already have it. I already made funeral arrangements. And like when I die, I mean, there'll be a roast of me there. We'll call that one a cremation.
But my point is,
you're on it, by the way. FYI, you're on it.
Sounds good. I always told people I always tell everybody, any surviving people who show up to my funeral, they get a tight 5. Everybody gets a nice tight 5 to say what they want to say to me. But look, so my point is, when I bring up my grandmother and the whole thing is, it's like, look, you talk about death because it's a very scary thing, and you have to joke about it, or else you're going to live in fear for the rest of your life. You're going to run from it for the rest of your life. But here's the thing: you ain't outrunning death. Death will find you. Death will get you. Nobody has beat death, no matter how good you think you are. But anyways, let's go head over to another topic of discussion. Because is any final things you want to say with Love and Thunder?
Fuck Melissa McCarthy.
Okay. What? Fuck Melissa McCarthy.
Even the first time I saw it, like already the fact that they had to rehash the joke of the play reenacting.
I hope they keep doing it. I hope every Thor movie they give you a rehash.
And this one it was just solely to have have that moment of just like, oh hey, it's definitely Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
Although, like when they did it the first time, I loved the Easter egg that Matt Damon was Loki
before he was Loki. Yeah.
Because of course, I know you're a Kevin Smith guy. You know all too well Dogma. So I like of all of the actors, they got Matt Damon to play Loki again.
Yeah. So smart.
Yeah.
Ridiculously a smart joke indeed. But anyways, let's head over to the next thing, because this is an interesting thing. So recently, Eternals just got greenlit for its sequel. And in this film, I feel like a lot of people did not like, nor did they want it. And they just didn't want it. And I think it's sad, because I don't think not wanting a movie is a reason to hate a movie. Because, I mean, look at Guardians. I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw Guardians, I saw they were going to do Guardians of the Galaxy. My first thought was, here's Marvel's first dud. I'll admit it. I was dead wrong. I was fucking dead wrong.
And when you found out that Chris Pratt was going to be the one to lead it, again, at the time, we'd only ever known him as Andy Dwyer. Exactly. It had all the recipe for a dud, which is why Amanda Seyfried, who was supposed to be Gamora over Zoe Saldana, she was even like, I'm not going to do a movie where there's a raccoon and a talking tree.
Exactly.
She had every right to be skeptical of the success of that movie.
Every right.
So I know, obviously, is she kicking herself? Probably.
She'll get in the MCU. She'll get in.
She's gonna be our Squirrel Girl.
She'll be our Squirrel Girl indeed. But
that would be nuts.
But my point is with this is just this movie. The problem I think stems heavily from the director and the writer. I think she helped write it too. I can't remember the person's name, but she was fresh off an Oscar movie. And she tried.
Chloe. Oh, what's her name?
I don't even care enough to memorize her name. Oh my God. Because nobody wanted that movie. Nobody wanted it. And here's my biggest issues with that movie. There are too many characters. There were too many. Yeah, I mean, look at Guardians. There's a lot of Guardians.
Yeah.
And the second movie had more of the Guardians, even the first Guardians. You know what I mean? But like this one, you should have let's get to know 5 characters. I felt like I didn't get to know any of the characters. I felt like the writing didn't allow me to relate to them. So I think the actors were fantastic. I think every element of that story is fantastic. I'm just mad because the writing did not let me get to know them.
No. So one of the first jokes I heard about the movie when it came out was people was like, it's the most DC movie that Marvel has made. And then I'm like, oh, so it sucks. No.
Hey, look.
The comparison for Eternals, DC, it is a very DC movie because they made the mistake that Justice League did, which was introduce way too many characters at once.
Yes.
Where we don't get to actually enjoy their backstory. And the problem is, I mean, all right, with Justice League, admittedly, by now, most people knew Wonder Woman. Most people kind of knew Aquaman. Most people knew The Flash, especially because The Flash actually did have a series before that. Because I think season 1 of CW's Flash was in like 2011, 2012, maybe.
No,
13.
He appeared in 2013, but got the show in 2014.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, the first Justice League was 15. So I mean, already people had a little bit of insight to Flash, to Barry Allen, but this one, on the other hand, Eternals, I mean, really hardcore comic nerds would be the only ones that knew about them. They were the Guardians of the Galaxy of Phase 4.
Yes.
And they thought, they'd pull the same formula, they'd take the gamble. And again, the director was way more focused on a cinematic Oscar bait movie.
Exactly.
And yeah, the character development suffered because of it.
Like the couple with the kid, like there could have been so much with that. Yeah, I mean, this guy's getting ripped away from his family to go fight the inevitable, because the inevitability is this god is supposed to be born and wipe out all humanity.
Right.
You know what I mean, like there is so much emotion, and like that scene where he kisses his husband goodbye and he's saying bye to his kid because maybe this might be the last time he sees them, because he is fighting the inevitability, which is, you know what I mean? And I felt no emotional weight was there. I felt like, oh, hey, take it easy. I'll be back.
They proved James Cameron right, damn it.
They proved James Cameron. God damn it. Anytime you prove James Cameron wrong, anybody who proves James Cameron right pisses me off already. And they did. I was like, but imagine if you had that guy, right, and his family. Then you had
keep ranting. I have to go get my charging cord.
Okay.
Keep ranting.
I'll keep ranting. Like, if you had, like that guy and his family, right? The main character who was wishy-washy, I don't know the fuck. Then you had the one chick who wanted to bang the Superman-looking dude, but she was like, oh, my elf, or whatever the fuck that was. I mean, like, it was so wishy-washy. Like, it's like they gave each character two things. Like, all right, you're kind of a bitch, and you like peanut butter. Good. Make your character out of those two little things. And it's just like, not enough. Like, I think have 3 or 4 of those characters, make 3 other ones maybe like
everything you just said. Yeah.
I was saying take 4 of those characters, make them your core, and then I know if you want to have all the Eternals, fine, put them in the background. Yeah. They did that with the Black Knight.
That was another gripe I had. What a terrible movie and a terrible way of introducing him.
And with a terrible way of introducing Blade.
Also, yes. And the fact that they did that piss poor intro for both characters only to then delay the Blade.
They pulled a headless Superman for Blade.
Yeah.
They pulled a Shazam. I always love Shazam when they do that post-credit scene. And it's just, can I sit here? And it's Superman, but it's like from the body down. You're like,
right. Because they were just.
I get DC's having problems, but this is fucking stupid. Don't do it.
Uh-huh.
Don't do it. If you can't do it, don't fucking do it. I just like I said. But so a sequel, so I understand Feige said the Eternals have it. He said it was important that they would be introduced. And real quick, Phase 4, the purpose of Phase 4, which is different than all the other phases, is that this was supposed to be a huge introduction phase, which I get. Yeah. I get that.
It's them detoxing from the Infinity Saga.
Yeah. And it's also to contextualize where we are in the world of DC, and I get that. But, like, what the fuck are we going to do with these characters?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do?
That's the big. That's the big criticism all of Phase 4 has gotten, which is basically, what's the point? What's it building to? What's the unifying cause?
I only got that from Eternals. Every other movie, I felt like there was a purpose to it. I felt like it was a purpose. I felt like all of Spider-Man movies were an epilogue. Yeah, I mean, to Endgame. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Far From Home, epilogue. No Way Home. Again, I feel like it's this continuate story from the Mysterio thing because it never really ended. Picks up exactly where it began. So I kind of felt like it was a part 1, part 2. Thor, like I said, he's kind of going through a midlife crisis. Not like,
again.
Yeah. If you live live that long, if you live 1,500 years, and then the
every movie though he's had to grow up and.
Okay, imagine living for 1,500 years, right? And then the last 10 years is just fucking off the rails.
The worst summer ever, yes.
The worst summer ever. I would have another fucking midlife crisis. So I'm okay with Thor. I mean, then like and then like Doctor Strange was kind of about the whole did he make the right choice when he saved everybody with the snap and all that stuff. You know, they kept harping on him, which I felt bad. They're like, did you make the right decision? Yeah. It's like, you're sitting here, aren't you? Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
You know, but like, so let me ask you this. So what movie do you feel didn't have that like certainty of like where we are in the world? Like you felt like it was pointless. Challenge
Black Widow. But we knew going into it though.
I'm gonna say real quick, Black Widow, they just should have made that years ago. I felt bad.
Absolutely.
I felt bad. And that's a movie where I just wanted it to be all spy shit and martial arts shit, because that would have been great. I think trying to make that big CGI movie, while it's cool, I think you got someone as talented as Scarlett Johansson who could fight like that. I mean, remember Iron Man 2 when she cleaned the hallway up with those guys? Oh my God. And then she fucking maced him. I thought that was hilarious. But okay, so we'll put a pin in that one, because like it does have a point, but it's the point now is they should have made that years ago. Absolutely. That one they should have made years ago. All right, so hit me with another one.
Let's see. I mean, well, apart from ones that were origins, because unfortunately an origin story is always going to be a point. Let me see here. I'm just trying to remember which ones were all Phase 4. So Black Widow, Shang-Chi.
Hey, sorry, my dogs.
Yeah, I probably was trying to help me remember. I don't speak dog.
Yeah,
but I mean, No Way Home. Obviously, that one was. I mean, it was dealing with the repercussion of you know, Far From Home, and then of course it was giving fan service, nostalgia. But they did it right, though. I'll say
they did. No, that was a home.
It was.
Spider-Man No Way Home saved cinema that year. Yeah, that's all anybody needs to know about that movie. Here, I'm gonna look up Phase 4 real quick.
It for sure saved anyone that doubted that Garfield was always a good Spider-Man obviously left that theater knowing they were right.
I know. I was so mad. Everybody gave Garfield such shit.
I mean, the second movie really, really did suck, but that was from a writing production standpoint.
Studio.
None to Garfield. Garfield is an amazing Spider-Man.
Okay. So I'm going to name off some movies and tell me to stop, all right? Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, No Way Home, Multiverse, Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever. Now I'm going to go to the TV shows. WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldiers, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, I Am Groot, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. And if you pick one of these that we have a subject for, I'll just go right into that.
Let's go with Moon Knight.
Moon Knight?
Moon Knight was fairly pointless.
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I will agree with that. I fell off.
And I hate it because Oscar Isaac acted his ass off.
Dude, Oscar Isaac, you know what? I am so sick and tired of Disney fucking that guy over.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God.
The man is oozing talent, and
he is producing gold every fucking scene, and they just can't fucking just give him something that works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, don't get me started with Star Wars. I mean, that movie, like,
that's a whole nother grown-up stable.
That's a whole, I want to get into that right now.
Yeah.
But point is, absolutely, okay, so right there, totally agree with that. Didn't even watch the whole thing. I fell off. I was bored as fuck.
And apparently they have no real other plans for Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's going to be bored as fuck. What is it like that?
Well, spoiler alert. All right, I'll spoil it for you.
Spoiler, I don't give a shit.
So Moon Knight, it ended. Obviously, there's the three personalities. There's Mark Spector. There's what's the one that we had the whole time? the library guy, but then there was also Jake Lockley. And he was the third one. He was the big reveal at the end. It's like, oh, there's this third personality that was even more violent than Mark Spector. And when at the end they make a deal with Khonshu after they fight Ahmet, I had to remember the Ethan Hawke's person. They fought Ahmet, and they were like, all right, we're making a deal. We did it this one time. You we're done with the deal. Like, release us. And it was both of the personalities. And Steven, because I remember Stevie with a V. Steven and Mark. And Khonshu's like, okay. And then it's revealed, it's like, oh, he still has a control over Jake Lockley. So technically, but now of the personalities, there's only one of the three that now will be our Moon Knight. And they apparently are not trying to use him in Midnight Suns. So it's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah.
If they're not going to bring him in for more. Because, I mean, Moon Knight is a really cool character on paper.
Oh, no. Here's the thing. I also think, and I always tell people this, take a lot of this with a grain of salt. I think COVID messed up a lot of this. Just keep in mind, a lot of what was planned, what had to be mixed up, out of order, reshot differently, because different things were to happen at different times because they couldn't get all the productions right. So I think this one got greenlit, and kind of like the movie Brain Scanners, it was one of those things where it's like, look, it had to be in production, or it doesn't get production at all. And they were like, okay, we got everybody set up, so let's just do it, and we'll figure out how to shove this in there later. To the point where I think they say that it doesn't take place in the MCU technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
it's so detached from everything else. I'll say it's more the series, the series, the plural of series. Those are the ones that were pointless or have a little point. I mean, you had Falcon Winter Soldier, which was just really tying up the handing of the Captain America mantle.
I like that. I really enjoyed that, because there's that, and also the fact that Captain was like, "Hey, Bucky, to the end of the line, unless there's pussy on the line."
Right.
Like, he just left him. I feel bad because, like, here's the thing. Like, Bucky has the least experience.
He's now the only man displaced from time.
He's really fucking displaced in time. And, like, one person he could relate to just pieced out. You don't think Bucky would have came back in time with him, been the crazy neighbor with PTSD? You know, he's trimming his hedges. Like, he would have loved that.
That'd be a great Marvel short if Bucky made his way back with the Winter Soldier arm.
Yeah. He's like, but like, and so like,
he goes to some burly bar and he's arm wrestling sailors and hustling for money.
Like, so like, I just wanted the scene where, like, it was kind of like that scene from The Wizard of Oz where the wizard's giving everybody their, like, oh, here's your heart, here's your courage, here's this. That's how I felt like Endgame was, like, here's your shield, you're the new Captain America. Then Bucky's like, what do I get? What do you get? You get my friend.
Yeah.
He just which he kind of did. He got him as a friend.
Yeah, Bucky got a terrible end on that deal.
You got a new friend, and then he just leaves. And it's kind of a bad deal for Falcon, because Falcon's like, I'm gonna start my new life. Shit, I gotta teach this guy everything about the 2000s.
Right.
All right, here we go. Yeah.
And then Loki. I'm glad it got a second season, because like I feel he was like a prisoner in his own show. And I mean, yes, he was technically literally a prisoner in his own show at one point. But yeah, he just it's, to be fair, I mean, we've gotten a lot of Loki in the MCU, but he was great. He was fantastic.
His show was the primer for Kang.
Yeah. It was setting that up. And the thing is, the fact that was the second series, and we already got Kang. Now, of course, anyone that has any kind of knowledge of comic books knows that Kang the Conqueror, he's no throwaway villain. He's a big bad. So the fact we got that second series in already, we're like, okay, cool. This is very much Phase 4 is going to be about Kang, and we're not getting real Kang until halfway through Phase 5. We're not really getting him until this Phase 6 when we really see Kang.
Quantumanium is
it's
that's
technically Phase 5, I think.
Yeah, but I kind of like that he's lingering. I mean, that's kind of what they did with Thanos, though. Thanos lingered for a while. He lingered for a while. So I mean, what first time we saw him was what? He was like
post credit scene of the Avengers movie.
Wasn't he CGI?
Yeah. Looking back, it was one because he was way more of like a dark purple. That one.
Then he was in. Then you saw him in Guardians.
Yeah, in the first Guardians.
Yeah, so I mean, like,
and by then it was Brolin, and they switched the design up a little bit, but
yeah,
then what was there was one post credit scene.
Avengers 2,
yeah, where he grabs the gauntlet. Yeah. So yeah, he only got the 3. I don't know. So it's about the same pacing, but it's just the fact we had nothing to base it off of in phases 1, 2, and 3.
I think the problem is, and here's what I think everybody's problem is with Phase 4, and I think it'll sum it up. We're not getting an Avengers movie.
Yeah,
that's that. I think, honestly,
the closest we got was No Way Home.
Exactly, but I think that's what the problem is, because every movie kind of was like. I always feel like with every phase, there was like a plot A, plot B. Plot A, and again, when I say plot A, plot B, I'm not denoting that A is more important than B. I'm just saying A is going to take priority. Yeah. There's A that's going through all the movies. B is also going through all the movies. But A will build up and ignite into an Avengers movie, while plot B will stay down here and linger. This is Thanos through the first 3 phases. Yeah. And all these little things are going to add up to Thanos eventually. They're going to converge. Yeah. And I don't think we don't have that right now, which is, I think, okay. But I think that's what's upsetting people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like making it to the end of the year and there's no Christmas special. We all want a Christmas special.
Yeah, right.
That's just my thoughts on it. I mean, I could be totally wrong. People could send me more death threats. I don't care.
But I'm
what shows I need you to show up to, though.
Right. But no, I mean, I'm glad we're getting a season 2 of Loki because again, Hiddleston is fantastic, and we're getting Short Round. Short Round is in season 2 of Loki. Plus, there's supposed to be some more actual Kang in that as well. So
yeah, which I'm like I said, I'm all for it. I think so far, I think what's very disjointed is the fact that we didn't see it build into an Avengers movie, and I think that's why everybody's saying, "Where's this going?" Yeah, and that's fine. That's an honest criticism. Some people like having that Avengers movie. I mean, honestly, if somebody came to me and said, "Jesse, would you rather this just be an entire character-based phase, or would you want us to build to an Avengers movie?" I'm going to say Avengers film all the time, every day of the week.
No.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah.
And I mean, the ones that we are going to get later on, I mean, Secret Wars is going to be the biggest, like, it's going to put Endgame to shame.
That's going to be kind of like the secret Avengers movie we're going to get. Kind of like what Civil War was. Yeah. Civil Wars was like a secret Avengers.
It was Avengers 2.5, yeah.
It was 2.5. But let's go on to the end of this phase real fast.
Okay, yes.
And then we'll bounce back to a few other things. But I really want to talk about this because this movie, because we had a lot of good conversation with a lot of good stuff here. But I really want to make sure we hit on this one specifically. Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
Where were you when you got the news he died? I'll tell you where. I'll say mine so you can think of yours. Yeah. I was laying in bed watching Saturday Night Live, the COVID stuff they did, where they did all the sketches at home, and it came up on my news feed, and I looked at my wife, and I'm like, "He died? No!" And we fact checked for an hour. And then when we saw it on the big major things, we were like, "He's dead." And I was downtown Columbus when this was happening. I was living downtown at the time.
No.
Blew me away. Colon cancer.
Yep. So I mean, unfortunately, where I am, the majority of the time I hear anything is I was out delivering mail. I was out on the mail route. But I remember the very first thing I thought was, again, this is exactly what my mother had. My mother had colon cancer 7 years ago. And all I was thinking was it didn't even hit me, the initial the death itself. That was not the first thing through my mind. The first thing through my mind was the fact that colon cancer is one of the slowest moving forms of cancer, and the fact that he had to have had it for like 4 or 5 years before it got to like be fatal, and the fact that again he was flipping and doing all these tricks and all that. Again, it goes to show the professionalism and commitment that Chadwick had as an actor. And then again, just immediately my thought was, because before we did the Thanos roast, I only seen like a smattering of the movies. I didn't actually like watch every single one. The one that got me back into it was Black Panther, and now admittedly in hindsight, it wasn't that great of a movie. It had some faults, but I mean, it was a movement. It was
the problem with that movie was just like Captain America, and just like I can't remember the other movie. You had to go before an Avengers movie, which is always the hard part because your movie usually at that point movies are sped into productions to get to that. So it sucks when that happens because
Ant-Man and Wasp was before Infinity War.
They sped that. They had the speed. You could tell it was a.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like hurry up.
Yeah, we're tying up our last little thing, and then we're on to the big guns.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way. I mean, because and that doesn't make you a bad movie. I'm not saying that does, but I'm just saying there is a stark difference between Captain America 1 and Captain America 2.
Yeah,
very stark difference.
Yeah,
I digress.
I was just saying, like Black Panther on the pacing. Like that has like big, huge lulls in the middle, and then the CGI fight scene at the end was pretty bad. But all in all, I still really much enjoyed the movie. It's just one of those. After a couple of years, it's like, all right, we can stop acting like this is like the best Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I don't know where the jumping off point was here. So for this one, no. Where were you? Where were you with Chadwick?
You heard the news.
Like I said, probably just deliver mail. But again, I had so many other thoughts before I even got to just the realization of like, oh, but also this is a 40-year-old man that's dead in the prime of his life, and he had so much more to give us too.
Oh, he did.
And the What If series, which is one we didn't touch on earlier.
Oh my God.
Admittedly, the whole idea of it is it's just this cool, alternate. All it does is explore the alternate timelines, what could have spawned it. But the fact that even after he still was able to live on through that, I actually did cry in the last episode of What If, because when I for sure knew that was definitely going to be the last time we heard Chadwick. That's what got me in the last episode, was that it's like, oh, this is officially the last thing he had to give us. So that hit hard. And then I was saying, unfortunately, I stopped crying when I heard Michael B. Jordan's awful voice acting. So,
hey, you can't be talented at everything.
Exactly. He is great at many things, but he's not a voice actor. He's not a voice actor.
Yeah. So this movie, there's a lot of jumping off points in this movie. Specifically, jumping like number one, this movie's going to do a lot. And this movie is going to depart from the Marvel tone heavily, which it needs to, because it has a lot. This movie has a lot of heavy lifting. It's going to talk about it's going to talk about Black Panther's passing. Yeah, Namor. Not only him. Am I saying that name right?
Namor.
Sorry.
Namor the Submariner.
Well, yeah. I always rhymed it. That's why I always scripted it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, that's a cool name. Da-da-da-da-da-da. But anyways, not only his introduction, but he is now the first mutant in the movies. Miss Marvel was in the show, but this is our first
movie.
A first movie where we have our first mutant in our
on screen, and
616 world.
Plus, Namor was one of Marvel's first characters ever. So he's technically also the first mutant in the history of Marvel Comics.
That's interesting.
Or of Timely Comics.
That's interesting. But then also we have
because he predates Aquaman.
I know that.
Yeah, he predates Aquaman.
This movie's also going to have to, like I said, it's going to be a funeral, first mutant, but also
passing of a mantle,
which has everybody wondering who's it going to be. Now, obviously, we've seen enough footage where we have it almost down to two. We have it down to two people essentially.
Yeah,
but we kind of think it might be Shuri.
Yeah. That's probably the route they will go. It's probably Shuri.
Which here would have been my two, because I honestly had two different people who I wanted to take over the I can't talk today. The mantle. The mantle. Thank you. Okay. So here were my hopes. Okay. So I'm gonna I just want to pull up the list because I have to see it. Okay. I wanted him to become the Black Panther because I thought it made so much sense for somebody who was such an outcast of the kingdom to now have to lead the entire kingdom. I think it would have been such an interesting story arc to see that.
Yes.
I thought that, and I thought he had, for me at least, he's had his own story arc since Black Panther. We see he's not part of the tribe. He's the reason why Black Panther survives and now can become king of all of Wakanda. And then he is side by side in Infinity War and Endgame. You know what I mean? Like, he's no longer isolated from the rest. You know what I mean? Like, right. If you want to talk momentum, there's the momentum. You know what I mean? Like, there it is. I like that momentum. Let's move that way. The other person I would have loved is I'm trying to. Oh man, I'm blanking on her name. Honey, I'm blanking on the name. Okay.
Okoye.
Yes. Sorry. Thank you. I'm blanking on
the head. The one that's the head of the Dora Milaje.
What? How awesome would that have been?
Oh yeah.
I mean, imagine somebody who isn't a royalty at all. Yeah. Okay. Not royal at all. Doesn't belong being a royal. She was somebody who worked for the royals, and now she's in charge.
Like the fact, the idea of it, the queen just acknowledged, like, hey, here's this absolute badass that has devoted every second of her life to Wakanda.
Yeah.
It's almost like what can Wakanda do for her now? Like,
exactly. Like, I wanted it to go that, man. For me, like I said, I wanted an outsider. I didn't want an insider. I wanted an outsider. Right. I wanted somebody who had the degrees of reluctancy. Like, I could see reluctancy in those two characters. You know, one was kind of satisfied not being the king. He had somebody else who would be the king. Great. And then all of a sudden, no, greatness is we saw someone born into greatness. Now I want to see greatness thrusted upon somebody. Yes. And I think having a reluctant king or queen would have been a very interesting story route to go in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But again, like I said, we'll see how it goes. What are your thoughts and predictions on the movie?
So again, given the trailer footage we have, especially the latest one that dropped, because the one before that, there was a lot of speculation that they would be resurrecting Killmonger.
That would have been interesting.
It would have, but I wouldn't have wanted that.
I think his death was so meaningful in what
it was,
and that I think it would cheap. That's the thing about resurrection. Sometimes with characters, it cheapens their death. Yeah, like, that's why, like, as much as I love God, I'm like blanking on everybody's names today. Star-Lord's stepfather. I'm blanking on his name for some reason. No, that's his father.
Yondu.
Yondu. I don't want them to. I never want them to bring him back. Don't bring him back.
Nope.
His death was so meaningful, so beautiful, so gut wrenching.
Yeah.
That if you bring him back, it'll just cheapen it. Yeah. Sometimes that's what's the good thing about death. You could say like, "Hey, this happened. This happened. It was meaningful, and you can reflect on it, and that's good enough." But I understand there is an outcry that people would have preferred. What do you think about some of the criticism where people said they would have probably wished they would have recasted Black Panther?
No, absolutely not. I'm very glad that they did not just give us another T'Challa, because again, just that would have you want to talk about like death cheapening something, like to just recast what Chadwick did for the African American community. Because again, when that announcement, when they heard like Black Panther was getting his own movie, again, it just was such a powerful moment in history. Like, so the idea of everything Chadwick did, and just say like, okay, well, we'll have someone else do it. It was fine with Norton for Hulk. He was a fine Hulk, but there wasn't a lot of power behind Edward Norton being cast as Hulk.
No. There was a lot of power with this. You had an actor who was pretty much beloved by everybody.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that the guy, he signed on pretty much knowing, like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, he signed on to the franchise even knowing like, hey, my time is limited, but I want to give the world something.
And that to me is so like beautiful and powerful. That imagine all the pain that he had to been going through to do all those stunts, all those and he knew the importance of it. He knew what he was doing. He did more than what was asked for it from him, and that's why, in my opinion, he's a legend. The guy is
absolutely.
In himself.
He's an actual hero.
Yeah, and I understand that one day they might recast because at certain points, like I said, you see how they're trying to reboot The Crow right now.
Yeah,
with Bill Skarsgård, and I get it. After time, but I think it's a tough.
Just don't cast Alec Baldwin in the movie.
Yes, don't do that. Yes, because here's the thing. I understand the recasting because there are a lot of stories to tell with T'Challa, but it's a double-edged sword.
Wait until they've officially wait until they decide to reboot an entire MCU run.
Just do a Days of Future Past. When they do a Days of Future Past, bring them in. But I think for right now, just be respectful, because this movie. Well, again, we'll see what they do with this movie. This movie's gonna be a funeral. This movie, to me, is gonna be a fucking funeral. It is. And it's gonna be bleak. It already has some moments of funny. I've seen some clips, and they look hilarious. We have Ironheart that's gonna be joining, which I'm excited as hell. I was so
happy. Finally answers the question. It's like, all right, or but it's the official answer after No Way Home finally said, like, all right, is this Peter Parker going to be Spider-Man, or is he going to be Iron Man Jr.? The fact that he's finally Spider-Man, and now it's now it's time for us to get someone that's actually going to carry on.
Yes,
the armor,
and I'm very excited for that. And I can't say I've seen too much about it, because I'm not going to lie to people. I haven't watched a lot of Wakanda Forever trailers. And the reason why is I have a specific rule with movies. If I know I want to see the movie and I really am digging it, I don't watch the trailer. I didn't watch any of the trailers for the Batman. I didn't watch any of the trailers for Halloween Ends. I didn't watch any of those trailers because I was like, because for me, my fear is trailers give away too much. They're
especially the last few.
Yeah.
After No Way Home, the trailers really give away too much.
They give a shit. They're like, all three of them are here. You know what I mean?
I will say though, to Marvel's credit, the No Way Home trailer, when they introduced Alfred Molina coming back as Doc Ock, I lost my shit.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I saw that one.
I mean, when I heard the cackle already, I knew it was Defoe, but then to see the from under the bridge and then to see Molina's face, that was like that was like one of the happiest I've ever been, like, seeing a trailer. Yeah. But then unfortunately, Multiverse of Madness went way too crazy with giving us, big plot points in the trailer. Yeah.
And that's why I liked when I love the phase 3, phase 2 world when the Russo brothers were involved. You could watch trailers safely because those fuckers make fake footage all the time.
Yeah.
And they would be like, enjoy the footage. We want to show you some footage, but none of it's going to be in the fucking movie.
Right.
And I like that. I miss those days.
Which apparently they're in talks to do Secret Wars. They're trying to bring the Russos back for Secret Wars. I can't wait for that fake footage. There'll be Boba Fett and Aquaman.
Dude, I hope they just troll us and they just put like the entire cast of Community in there. Just like they troll
or just have Deadpool sit down and with Tom Holland, and then give Tom Holland the fake script, and Deadpool be like, no, it's not even that, and then have two fake storylines.
Like
I have the one that Tom Holland's trying to spoil, and then have the one that Ryan Reynolds is just trolling with.
That would be really funny. Like I said, hopefully one day they'll make good trailers again. But
yeah,
man, there was a lot we wanted to talk about. We didn't get a chance to talk about, but I feel like we had a lot of good show. So, like I said, if you want to hear more opinions about what we think about Marvel, number one, we'll probably talk about more of this on our own individual social medias. That's why you got to follow him. Oop, over there. There you are.
Right.
I feel like I'm doing a freaking thriller right now.
Yeah.
That's why you got to follow Destin Richardson. Give us some of your social media handles.
Let's see. I mean, on Facebook, Destin_Richardson, Instagram, The Real Destin Richardson, Twitter, D-Rich Comedy, Pornhub and then I got a show coming up November 19th at the Homestead Cherry Valley Public House. December 23rd, we're doing a Festivus show there as well, including feats of strength that are going to be like done by actual wrestlers. January 28th, recording my very first ever special, Mediocre Rated, with the world's most overqualified opening act here. Also, same place. And then, like I said, we'll do the roast of me next year in the summer. We'll do some kind of roast in the fall, which, by the way, if you want to comment at what you would like to see me try and get a team together to roast, feel free. Also, any single women ages 18 through 59, you can follow me at 740-975-59. I'm not actually getting out my number, you fucking creeps. I say your tempeh killers might be listening to this, so no.
Yeah. We don't need people threatening other people.
And then I'm sure John is going to be very happy to hear that we actually got so sidetracked we didn't talk about She-Hulk because, he'll be glad that we didn't touch
like a whole show about that, and not to talk about She-Hulk, but Hulk in general, and because I want to fucking bitch Universal Studios out for ruining the Hulk for us.
Yep.
Because of them, they just, again, MCU, in my opinion, they did the best they can do with Universal Studios being a fucking prick with their distribution rights and all that stuff. But anyways, thank you so much for everybody tuning in and watching at the Grumps Table. For new episodes, we're live every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And for all new episodes to watch and reruns, we're on our YouTube page Thursday, the very next morning. I want to give it up to John and Vance for producing the show. Give it up for Destin, my guest, and for everybody who commented live on this show. Thank you so much. And until next time, I'm Jesse, and you've been sitting at the Grown Ups Table. Thank you, and have an awesome night, everybody. Take care.